Well, what is going on, YouTube? So it's been a while since my last video, and there's kind of a reason for that. So about 2 weeks ago, I was riding my Rad Rover 5 through my neighborhood, and I got stopped by a guy. Was asking me a bunch of questions, said he was looking for a bike. I don't know, we sat and talked for about 10 minutes, and at the end of the conversation, he goes, "Do you want to sell it?" And I said, "I don't know, I just got it." And I waited, 3 weeks for it or whatever. And he goes, "Yeah, that's my problem. I want one, but I want it now, and I want it assembled." And so he made me an offer that I didn't want to turn down. He basically paid full price for the bike, along with the accessories that I got. So I basically walked out, with a net zero. And I was kind of okay with that. I've been riding the Rad for a couple of weeks, and I know in my initial video I said I liked it. It was smoother, a little bit different than the Ride1Up 700 that I had before, but it kind of started not impressing me very much, mostly in the power area. I guess I was used to the Ride1Up 700 series, which had way more power. So when he offered to buy it, I said sure, and I knew exactly what I was going to get, and it's actually what I wanted to get from the get-go. Is he gave me the cash, and I went inside. I went on the Ride1Up website, and I actually bought a Ride1Up Limited, and I kind of did it spur of the moment. I'd already done the research on it on the website and things like that, but I didn't really go out and look at reviews and people doing videos on them. And again, Ride1Up, for some reason, there's just not a lot of info out there. They don't have a lot of info on their website as far as doing maintenance, and the assembly is not great. And so anyways, after I bought it that night, I started doing a bunch of research, getting excited, and the beauty was it was in stock. So I ordered it Saturday night, and I had it Tuesday morning, which in this day and age, that's pretty unheard of. I mean, I waited 2 months for my first Ride1Up, and I waited 3 weeks for my Rad, or more, maybe even a month. So to be able to order it and have it 3 days later was super cool. So I'm gonna go through it and kind of just walk through it. And I think this is the one I'm gonna keep. Like I said, this is kind of the one I wanted from the get-go, but it was more money and I just couldn't talk myself into it. So after getting out of the Rad free and clear and not losing any money, I thought, what the heck, I'm gonna do it, because I do use it a lot. The bikes. So here we go. So first off, the color scheme I love. It's perfect. It's like a matte finish, so it's super smooth. This battery integration is even better than it was on the 700. I think it just looks clean. You almost can't tell it's an electric bike. But the battery unlocks, pops out, charges. Fantastic. I love the looks, just the overall looks. I hate to say it, I like the smaller tires. The Rad Rover 5 is kind of a big beast to kind of maneuver around things. And if you're riding on an open trail or something, it's fine. But when you're weaving in and out in the city, it was kind of a lot to handle, especially at any given, any decent speed. So couple of things. Not sure why they decided not to include front headlight and rear tail light on this bike, since it costs more money, but that's a little weird. The assembly video, well, the assembly was easy because and this was my gripe from the 700, is the fenders were a pain to install, and B, they were rattly and I didn't like them. So this bike, no fenders, and I'm actually okay with that because I don't think I would ride an electric bike in the rain too much. I like to keep my stuff nice and clean, and I just don't really see a need. I'll ride it in the winter, but we don't get a ton of rain, so I'll be fine. So no fenders to install. Basically it was the front forks, the handlebars, the front tire, the seat post, and that's about it. And they give you enough of this wire loom to actually make the wires and cables look super nice. So it's just a matter of wrapping that, adjusting the brakes and the handlebars, the angle, position, the display position. That's about it. It was super easy. I wasn't too sure about the air shocks in the front, but it's pretty cool. There's just a little cover here, and you can adjust by adding or taking out air out of the shocks. a little nipple here, just like on your tires. I haven't played with it, I've left it the way it was, so it seems to ride super nice. It might be a little firm, but I'm mostly on roads anyway, so I'm not overly worried about it. The brakes, everything fantastic. Hydraulic brakes again, like on the previous Ride1Up. The Rad had cable brakes, so mechanical. Yeah, everything went together super easy. It's not really clear. I kind of, because I've put together now, this will be my third one. There's spacers and there's split washers and all kinds of stuff in here, but it you know, because I've done it already a couple of times, it made sense to me. I could see how a new person that had never done it would maybe be a little intimidated by it, but it wasn't a big deal. It went together smooth. The one thing that in the assembly piece of this was the sprocket and this crank were not installed. They were off the bike. And for one, this nut that holds the sprocket on it takes a special key, a sprocket key or thing that you put on the end of a socket, wrench, and so I didn't have one of those, and there was no mention of that. I didn't know that was even a thing. It wasn't in their assembly instructions. Some guy, thank God, made a video and put it on his Google Drive and kind of showed the process, but I got it torqued down well. I'm going to take it to a bike shop and have them just torque that just to make sure. But the crank went on easy. That's just slide it on and tighten the bolt. So that was easy, but I mean, the components I'd say are better than decent for the bike. Everything seems to be adjusted well. The gears all work fine. There's no weird clicking. The brakes are super smooth, no real loud grinding. My Rad had super loud brakes. The motor does make some noise and is definitely louder than the Rad motor. Just makes more of an electric sound, kind of sounds like an electric car going by. So it's louder than the Rad, but it's probably about the same as it was on the other Ride1Up that I had, the 700 series. So it's all good, but I mean, the color scheme of this bike I love. It's just clean. There's no extra things to rattle around, and it just rides great. I did buy this little light kit off of Amazon. I think it was about 15 bucks, and it basically just a battery powered light with different flashing modes for the back. And then this is the light from the front, and it's basically just like a flashlight that's in a holder. But man, it lights up the road way better than the lights that were installed on either of my other two bikes. So love it. It's got rubber grips. My previous bike had, I don't know what they were, but they were maybe some vinyl, or I don't think they were leather, but so rubber grips, but they're not sticky or anything, and they've got a nice place for your palm to rest there. Standard you know, color display that was on my 700. I think they changed this. I think it was a different display, and I think they went back to this. You got your thumb throttle, and then I took this top tube bag and put it on here. It doesn't fit as well as it did on my Rad Rover, or the other Ride1Up for that matter, but it does fine. I don't think I'm going to put a rear rack on it, but this holds my phone and keys and wallet and stuff, and it's fine. Seat's very comfortable. I've only put, I mean, I just got it the other day. I've already put 20 miles on it, and I love it. It's fast. This thing. One other key feature to this bike that's different than both of my other bikes is it's got a torque sensing assist, and I didn't really know what that meant because the other ones are just cadence. So if on my Rad and on the previous Ride1Up 700, you didn't have to put any pressure on the pedals. As long as you were making them go around in a circle, the assist would work. This works differently. This actually, you have to put some pressure on the pedals. It actually senses the torque and then adjusts the assist with that. And in my mind, it's way more natural. So the harder you pedal, the faster you go, the faster the assist works. The slower you pedal, or the easier the pressure is, the slower it goes. So you don't get these sudden jolts. If you just barely move the pedal on a cadence bike, you know, the motor kicks in and goes, even though you're not really pedaling hard. So this actually senses, and it's way more natural in my mind. I didn't, at first, like on my other two bikes, I didn't know the difference, and so I didn't really care, but after riding this bike, it's 10 times more natural when you're riding around. and the power out of this motor and bike, I can pedal at, you know, with some good force, obviously, because it's a torque sensor, but I can cruise around at 23 miles an hour without, you know, killing myself. And I've had it already up to 29 miles an hour on flat road. I mean, and it hums, and it's fast, and it's stable and super smooth. And, you know, I really just don't have anything bad to say. Actually, the one bad thing I will say is the kickstand. They moved it, because it used to, on my 700 it was up here, and now they moved it to the back, which is cool because it lets the pedals go around without hitting it. But it flops around when it's in the up position, and so it just sits there and dongles around, and it makes it, I thought there was something out of whack or something on the bike, but it's just the kickstand, and it flops around enough that I can actually feel it while I'm riding. So I'm going to engineer something. It's just, there's a big gap between the mount and the actual kickstand when it's in the up position, and it just rattles around and kind of annoying. But if that's the worst thing that has come out of this, then I'm totally happy with this one, and I will definitely have this bike for a while to be able to do some more detailed videos on it. So far, absolutely love it, and I will definitely be doing, somebody asked for a more detailed controller video, which I will definitely do. I haven't even had to mess with anything in the controller. I've left it exactly the way it came. So what I was gonna say too is, after I bought the bike, and I did it kind of on a whim. I mean, I knew I was gonna buy it, but I just went in, purchased it, and was done. I started doing a lot of research, and there's some Facebook groups out there, and there's a lot of people out there that were really complaining about the bike. All kinds of things, from having no power to the assembly to the controllers to the this to the that, and I started getting really nervous because I just dropped, you know, 1,800 and well, almost 1,900 bucks on a bike, and I was like, oh god, I think I made the wrong decision. I can say I put it together and started riding it, and I haven't had one issue with it. It's exactly what I want. It's fast, it's powerful, it's smooth. I'm somewhat technical, so putting it together was no big deal for me, but I could see where somebody that wasn't so technical would have some issues putting it together. So their assembly videos, not great. It doesn't match what comes with the bike at all. Even the pictures of the controller and things aren't right. The fact that the crank arm and the sprocket weren't on, just things like that. I should have done an assembly video, and I always say that, but I get so dang excited to get it put together, I don't even want to deal with it. So I didn't. But I am going to do some more videos for sure on a more frequent basis, and definitely some riding videos, and definitely a controller video. And I haven't really had, I don't think there's a need to do any derailleur adjustments or anything, because like I said, the bike's perfect. So, you know, if something does fall out of whack and needs to be adjusted, I will definitely be doing videos on that. So that is all I have for today. Please subscribe and look out for some new videos. There's not a lot out there on these Ride1Up bikes. I don't know why. You could go, there's millions of things out there on all of the Rad bikes, but for some reason this bike, there's just not a lot of people doing things. I noticed there's a couple of videos out from one guy, but I'm gonna put out some more, and some definitely more detailed videos to help you guys out in your purchase. But as of right now, this bike is my favorite out of the three by far. And yes, it was a little more expensive, but I think it's definitely worth it. That's all I have for now. So we'll talk soon. Have a great day.